All right, thank you very much for staying with us. Right now is about the state of the living spring Osun State. And more than 7 months, it's been a stalemate at the local governments in Osun State since February, actually, about who is really in charge, who should be in charge of our local councils. You know, there were those that are called the yes or no chairman, those of the APC, you know, that's the appellation given to them, who, through a pronouncement of the court in February, laying claim that that has returned their mandate. And you know what happened? You know, the chaos that ensued after that, with like 6 to 7 persons killed, you know, in that particular stalemate, and in which they went back to the councils, some would say forcefully, because they said the court has returned them, even when the current pronouncement has been open to several interpretations. And the PDP-led state government, the PDP as well, said they are the ones in charge, because a local government election was conducted 22nd of February this year, and all of them, chairman, councillors, were all of the PDP, and they said they went through the right, you know, way, the 360-day, you know, period given by our laws, you know, that must be given notice of election. And instead of what obtained in 2022, when a local government election was conducted, and the notice was just 60 days, and all of those things, which many persons have called an aberration. But here we are, the local government workers called Norgay, they have been at home because they said they fear for their lives because people died, and since then they have been at home. Everything has standstill in Osun State. Different court cases, actually suits, even to the Supreme Court level now, seeking solution to these. And here we are. And the latest is the allegation that the local government funds has been paid. We heard it over the weekend, and many persons are saying to who. The Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees, Norgay, said they are aware that it has been paid, you know, albeit into private pockets, you know, and one will wonder, this is democracy. This is not the way it is done in Nigeria. Now, because of time, you know, we expand it further. We have one of those local government chairmen, you know, especially those of the 2022 set that are laying claim from the South. He joins us in the studio, Honorable KOLA SALAMI. Good to have you, Honorable. Good morning.
Good morning. Good to have you. Good to be here. Thank you.
All right. How is our people in Ede?
We're all doing fine.
All right.
We're doing fine.
Good to know. But let's, from the most recent, is that news that has filtered in and, of course, engulfed everybody in the state, that the much-awaited local government fund has been paid. Can you confirm that, if actually you have received yours?
Once again, good morning to you and good morning to our viewers. I can tell you that, like you, the information that we have at hand is that the funds have been paid. So I can also align with the views of the information we have in circulation.
That it has been paid?
Correct.
Do you have yours now?
I believe I have. The South has its own money now. Yes.
Okay. And into which account was it paid?
So each local government has its own bank account.
Yeah.
And what I can confirm to you is that house has been paid into the local government account, which is the South local government account. And that's where the fund is right now.
Honorable, so you're saying categorically, as it stands now, you are confirming that you have received funds for local government, which lays to rest the argument and whether you are legitimate or not. So you're saying that you've received the funds. That's what you're confirming.
If you go on the dailies this morning, for example, on the front page of Nigerian Tribune, is you have Norgay with all their misgivings over the past 8 months, as regards them not coming into the office, as regards their leadership being very partisan, contrary to what the dictate of the agency or the
The
union advice. Despite that, they've come out to say that the APC local government administration across the state have been paid.
Quite interesting, right there. So what should we expect going forward? Now you have the funds. Before now we've had so many, arguments, court cases, plethora of litigation, contestations in court. Now that the funds have been released to you, what should the people of Osun State expect? And let's start from you. What should your people expect? Now you've just confirmed that you have the funds. So what should the people expect from you? All the delayed, has there been issues of delayed projects, payment of salaries to teachers and all that? So what exactly do you intend to do going forward? Because now you have no excuse that there are no funds.
Thank you. So firstly, my confirmation is actually hinged on the information in the public domain. That's a caveat.
What does that mean?
What that means is that, like I said, I made reference to Noge telling us that we now have the funds as APC local government. Now, it's still early days and there are processes.
However, you are changing your words. This is not what you said.
Yeah, you just confirmed it.
Not at all.
You confirmed you have it.
Not at all.
You even said the fund was paid into local government account. Now you are throwing it into the public space.
I'm saying that the fact that local government chairmen, the fact that local governments across the state have their funds is an information in the public domain. I am not the one confirming it. I am not the one giving out that information. It's an information that we all
Honorable, hold on. Let's make it simple. Do you have the funds or not?
As far as I know today, I believe we do.
You believe or you know you do? No, there are two different things, Honorable. Hold on. You believe you do have the funds or you know that you have the funds?
I believe we do have the fund.
But you don't know if you have it.
I know we have it.
That's the point. You have the funds.
Yes.
Thank you.
So back to your question, I think it's a beautiful dawn for the people of Osun State, because there's a renewal, there's a rebirth that is going on in Nigeria ever since President Bola Tinubu came into office. That rebirth had taken us through certain hardship stages. The moment tax or fuel oil subsidy, convergence of the exchange rates, all these policy moves had its impact on Nigerians. But we have now moved from that phase to a phase whereby there is starting to be succor in terms of revenues that are accruing to government, both at the federal, state, and local government level. What we've had in Osun State, unfortunately, is that since February, we haven't, as a result of this logjam, we have not been able to leverage on this rebirth that is going on in Nigeria. But what happens now that we have access to funds is that Osun has effectively been plugged into the ecosystem of this rebirth in Nigeria. Now, this ecosystem means that we as executives of local government, we have a mandate to ensure that the renewed hope at the end of the Mr. President, which so far, despite all the byproducts of the policy, the decisions that we made, has now started to yield positive results, which means we have the revenue, we have the support to do well by our people. It is why I said it's a new dawn for the people of Osun State. We're not here to have any confrontations with anybody. We're here to actually serve our mandate, support our people, so work alongside the state governor, just as all state governors work alongside the president. Any local government chairman would understand that your mandate is to do well for your people.
Absolutely.
As you're doing that, you also know that you know there's a state governor there, just as we have president that has governors across different party divides. So right now, for me personally, I'm excited to have a basis to actually do things,
to spend the money
that makes the difference in the lives of our people. Spending the money, of course, for our people.
All right, Honorable. Well, which you haven't really answered my question. I'm going to come back to that. We'll circle back to that. Now, you're confirming that you have funds. You don't just have funds, you have sufficient funds. Because, of course, local government and every strata of government in Nigeria, have access to more funds now. Abdullahi Ganduje, a former APC chairman, he made a statement during the weekend saying that the current governor, okay, of his state has received more revenue in 6 months than he got as a governor in 8 years. It simply goes to show that there is more money in circulation for government as a result of removal of, fuel subsidy. And, now we're going to be having, tax collections, harmonization of tax systems to make sure more revenue accrues to you. Now you have more funds. So there shouldn't be any excuse, for, unpaid salaries or delayed projects, which brings me back to the question. Now you have sufficient funds. What are your plans for the people?
Thank you for that. I think firstly, I want to say that whilst you make references to this change in our fortune as a people, for example, the reference to Alhaji Ganduje, former IPC chairman, I couldn't confirm it because I didn't see the report, but I'm confirming it hearing from you. And I think it's important that we put the right context in place. The context that it is our party, the APC at the national level, that has braved it, that is brave enough under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that is brave enough, that is deliberate and determined to drive through a change that has led us to where we now are, which is that, yes, there is a lot more money. Now, as there's a lot more money for local government, there's a lot more money for the state government as well, also for the federal government. As to whether the accumulation of 6 months allocation is more than 8 years, I couldn't confirm that without reference to figures.
Yeah, that was what he said anyways, yeah.
But
let's talk about your own plans.
But I can say that allocations has more than tripled. Now, in Osun, for example, I can confirm to you that what the governor, Governor Demola Adeleke, has received in the past 1 year is more than what the former governor received throughout the 4 years of his tenure. I've looked at the figures myself, and as a matter of fact, it continues to rise as well. So much as we are, and again, going back to myself, like you asked, of course, the essence of public service from where I stand is a willingness to impact on people's lives. How you do that, you work with people, stakeholders. No matter how good your intentions are, one of the things I have been faced with and I've come to realize and continue to learn is the fact that a single man's good intention does not change things by itself. You must, hope that you're supported, you're surrounded with people that share in the same commitments.
But do you have a blueprint, though? Do you have a blueprint, a roadmap as to what exactly you intend to do for your people?
Absolutely. So I'll give you an example. I'm someone that I place a lot of emphasis on human development. Nigeria is a vast nation. Like we've discussed, the economy has been opened up. You have free trade zone on Lagos Ibadan Express. If you drive through that side, you imagine the way companies are just springing up. The Ogun axis. With that, you know that Nigeria is massively expanding, and as we're expanding, we have to be prepared to have the human capital resource to match it. I want to make sure that in my local government, youths are supported with the right platforms, with the right opportunities to be able to grow into that area. Now, there's also the aspect of farming. For any nation that cannot feed itself, is not serious with growth. And we thank God again, the federal government under the leadership of President Tinubu has taken the bull by the horn by different policy areas. So from my point of view, from my local government, I intend, one of the plans is to create the enabling environment to support farming activities. When our people farm and they have the support of the local government administration, I believe that it would give more result, and the support will be in ways of agricultural materials, coordinating the sales or the management of their produce, making sure that there is structure in place, and that there's also the aspect of education, and it's the aspect of the healthcare services as well. So,
if I may come in here, because of time, actually, you've said human capital development, farming, and all of those things. You know, some would say that an ambiguous thing, you know, because you're not breaking it down on how you're going to have it. We are due for a break, but I must ask you, because when we come back, we speak into your legitimacy, which has been, you know, up for debate for months, actually 4 years. But before that, you have said, you are confirmed, Honorable, if you can hear me now, that, yeah, you can confirm that you have the funds. And now, looking at it from February, actually, till now, that's like 7 months. At least, they should be talking about 6 months worth of allocation. Can you confirm how much has got into the purse of Edo South? Because your people in Edo South and the people of Osun State deserve to know. This is accountability. This is transparency. How much has been paid into the purse of Edo South local government?
So again, you know, at the start, whilst we were talking about the status of these funds, I was clear in that much as I confirmed based on the information in the circulation, I made clear references to information in the public domain. What I couldn't do for you right now on live TV is to make any direct
categorical statements.
As
far as the figures is concerned.
I wouldn't know.
All right. So because there is a reason why I'm saying that. The National Union of Local Government Employees, NOLGE, are saying that particular payment was done not into the conventional, local government account. In fact, let me read it out. They say there are existing bank by their chairman, by the way, Dr. Bungbang, that there are existing bank accounts.
The same partisan chairman.
Let me land. There are existing, in which you have to work with, by the way, either partisan or not.
I think his first mandate is to make sure he's carrying his people along.
Let me land.
So.
There are existing bank accounts of the 30 local government in various commercial banks. What informed the opening of the UBA accounts by APC politicians in the names of the 30 local government in Osun State, with the active support of the Attorney General of the Federation. And this is supposed to be a democracy, and we insist on the rule of law. We cannot expect to work with politicians who have been sacked by competent courts, but have been imposed on our state by the Attorney General. Let's stay with the first line. We interrogate the second line after the break. He is saying a UBA account was opened, actually, and it was inside it that it was paid. And now this money, if it was paid into local government accounts and you are in charge, you should know.
So first thing first, you see, Osun has been dragged too badly in the mud already.
I guess I must hold your thought there. Please hold the thought. We are due for a break. I've been repeatedly told we are due for a break. You pick it from that point as well. We are talking about the allegations of payment of local government funds into private accounts by the federal government to local government, and it is not in the conventional local government accounts, into some private arrangement. We'll look into that. We have Honorable KOLA SALAMI here from the South Local Government. We are live on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television, NG. Stay with us. You know, the fund that NOLGE and, almost everyone, they are confirming that it has been paid, in which he has confirmed himself, was paid into the statutory local government account, or, into a particular UBA account. Please confirm, sir. Because the reason why I'm asking you is this, Honorable. If it was paid into the statutory local government account and you are in charge, just like, many of your colleagues and yourself have been claiming that you are the legitimate ones, you should know. There should be exact figures that you should have. Now, many persons will say it wasn't paid there. it was paid into a different account because you don't have the figures, you don't even have the alert, you don't know how much. How come you cannot confirm?
Thank you
but
very
firstly,
much.
was it paid into any UBA?
You see, I wanted to create a context when you asked that question.
Go ahead.
Osun has been dragged too badly in the mud in the past 8 months. We have been subjected to what is ideally not supposed to be a real situation. We have a state governor, we have local government chairman, and we have a president. And in all of this, we have trivialized governance, trivialized it to the state, to the extent that employees who spend or who are supposed to spend 35 years in service are going to spend 1 out of those 35 years at home because of trivialities.
By politicians like yourself?
Now, you see, yeah, but journalists, you have the responsibility to do the right diligence and call the right people out.
That's what we're doing right now.
Politicians may be doing what politicians do, but employees are supposed to do what employees do. It becomes even more ridiculous when you think that it's a few of those leaders in NLC that is holding the agency or the union to ransom. So we now have in Nigeria today men of high integrity, impeccable character. These are people who have made a fortune in their careers. They've made a name for themselves in their careers. You have the Minister of Finance, you have the Central Bank Governor, you have Mr. President. These are people who have lived life seriously. We are still young and we're still building a name, and we know what it takes to get to where we are as young as we are. Now you have people who have attained such heights in their lives, and one politically compromised NLC chairman will come and start to be saying a lot of rubbish. I think it's disgusting. And I think as a local government chairman, I don't think I should be having to deal with that kind of question, in fact.
No, the question is, an allegation was made.
Because we're not dealing with the right issues we should be dealing with.
No, we are going to do all of it because you said the media should do its function in calling out.
Exactly.
And that's why we have you here.
Why are we not talking about the basis for NLC being away from office for 8 months, almost a year, out of 35 years of service?
When we speak to NLC, we'll do all of that. We have you here. You're a politician, and we want to confirm whatever you are in charge.
When you speak to NLC, do not condone them ridiculing people who have worked hard to earn their status.
Honorable, our work is cut out for us. We will do it as we have the constitutional backing to do that.
Of course.
When we speak to them, we know what to do. Now, we have you here. Speak
so
to
that's the context I want. That's the context.
Yes, but my question is, you are not answering
now,
please answer.
The context was important because I find it very...
because of time,
I find it
you have established the context. Just answer the question.
You see, the question is totally linked to the context that I set.
Yeah, answer your part.
And the reason why it is linked to that context is that respectable judges of this federation gave a judgment. If anybody disagreed with that judgment, they knew what to do. They didn't do it, did they? Did they go to the Supreme Court? No, they didn't. Because they were fearful of the fact that they were wrong. So for them to go to the Supreme Court, which is the ideal thing, and this is why, again, I'm challenging journalists. They said, you guys are doing very well.
I'm sorry.
So,
I don't want us to...
If they haven't done that, you want me to answer your question?
I beg your pardon. Hold on, sir. So that we are clear, and then we can move very quickly. I don't like the fact that, and I'm sure people are knowing that you are deflecting. There is a question that I've asked. Was this fund paid into the statutory local government account or another arrangement?
So you see,
forget NLC. You are the one here.
You raised the question of Norgay. Yeah. So you are being unfair. If I must put this, because you raised the question of what the Norgay chairman or president said about certain key officers of the federal government and the state. Yeah. It's only fair that I react to that. Yeah. Now, to that other aspect of your question, again, I said it is linked because it is clear that as far as the law in Nigeria is concerned today, APC chairmen are in charge of their councils. And also,
Your words.
and also, last year, I think July 2024 was when the Supreme Court made its judgment about autonomies for local government. Ever since that judgment has been made, there has been different directives and guidelines to implement that procedure. Now, if that means there will be different changes in the way operations, in the way local government operates, I don't see why that should be the headache of the NLC chairman.
Are you confirming that there was another arrangement for that fund to be paid?
I am not confirming that. The only thing I'm obliged to confirm, or that I can actually confirm
is
here,
that you have the funds.
is that we have the funds.
Into which account was it paid?
I am not at liberty to go ahead and start to discuss all of that.
So the people that are saying the account wasn't, I mean, the fund wasn't paid to the statutory local government account, does that mean they are right?
The account has been paid for my local government into the statutory the South local government account.
And that's what we're asking.
That's the question. That's what I've confirmed.
Into the statutory conventional that everybody knows.
I am confirming, as the local government chairman, that the South local government funds would have been paid, is paid into the statutory local government.
Not into any UBA new account.
Any bank account is a statutory account if it is statutory.
All right, Honorable.
For the local government.
I'm sure, you know what I'm saying? Daniel is next, but I'm sure, you know, this is on record. You are speaking on a national TV, and there are many persons who are watching, who will still watch later, especially with what you are saying. You are not denying, you are not confirming. All you have told us so far is that the funds are being paid. How much? You don't know. Into which account? You don't know.
I don't know.
But you have the
I don't
account.
know what you want me to confirm that I have not confirmed to you now.
You have not confirmed anything.
Or, I mean, what I've told you, as clearly as I can, is that the South local government has its funds.
That's all for you. All right.
All right, Honorable Alimi, you just confirmed now. Salami, rather, Honorable Salami. You've just confirmed that you have the funds and that the funds have been paid into the statutory accounts. And according to you, you know, of course, you're a politician and you're sounding very much like one. You said any account is paid to becomes the statutory account. That's what you said. You said any account the funds were paid to is the statutory account of the local government. I just wanted to clear that. So that's according to you, right?
So as an executive of the local government, I can tell you that the account that the money has been paid to is the statutory account.
Yeah, we are saying the same thing. That's what you're
So I'm not saying that any account that payment has been paid to, it becomes a statutory account by virtue of that payment being paid to it. No, I am saying that what I know is that we have received our funds
into the statutory account. So any person like the PDP who believes otherwise should show proof that it wasn't paid into the statutory account. You okay with that? Okay, which brings me to the next question. Now that you have the funds, like they say, you have the yam and you have the knife. Again, which lays to rest until proven otherwise by a court of competent jurisdiction that you are actually in charge for you to have received the funds. And Nigerians can view this and also view this later. For you to have received these funds, this is federal government's allocation. It simply shows that they recognize you as the legitimate, holders of that office. My question is this. Now you have the resources, no more excuses as to why things are not running well at the local government level. But the question is this. Let's assume now that you are the legitimate holders of that office. What happens when your tenure relapses? I understand your tenure, naturally should expire. That should be October, right?
Next month, yeah.
That should be October, right? That's next month. So what happens when your tenure expires next month?
Thank you very much. So firstly, we are not just being validated as the legitimate occupiers of that office. We were validated in February, immediately after the judgment, and the state government was actually advised to not proceed with an election because there are legitimate occupiers in the office. The state government was advised by the appropriate institutions in Nigeria. So that said,
no, individual, actually. It was the AGF in his personal capacity.
It was the, sorry?
The AGF in his personal capacity do that.
The Attorney General of the Federation is an institution. The Inspector General of Police is an institution, and those two did.
I'm not sure we should. You have your question, right? I'm not sure we should mix it together. So they did. I know the communique you talked about. So, the advice.
I mean, you've even acknowledged. You have even acknowledged a communique. So
yeah,
unless I'm starting to feel that I cannot have my views fairly, past that.
No, of course, that's why you're here.
So back to the question. Can you run the question again, please?
Now, what happens when your tenure expires next month?
So, like I said, we were not just validated. That happened immediately. We had that, appeal court judgment. In an ideal society, we shouldn't have this impasse in this state if people listen, or if leaders listen to institutions in Nigeria. So now that we're here, as far as I know, I'm now speaking as Honorable KOLA SALAMI as chairman of the South Local Government. And as far as I know, I have not been allowed to perform for all those years that the governor arbitrarily, without listening without following what due process is, decided to use his executive order to put us out of office. And as a result of that, I believe that my tenure starts in February 2025.
But there was a court pronouncement that sacked you and your colleagues at the time, even before the governor, isn't it?
When the current governor, Governor Demola Adeleke, when we had our case in tribunal, he lost at the tribunal, but he was not kicked out of office. The president did not say, oh, this is my executive order, so he just vacates. The way it should be is an executive local government chairman should be allowed and permitted to exhaust the procedure of the court process up to the Supreme Court, just as the governor was allowed to when he lost at the tribunal. So again, these are information that's in the public domain, and we were not allowed to do that. So it's on that basis that I have that view.
Honorable, let's circle back to my question now, because it's getting a little complicated now. You are saying that as far as you are concerned, that your own tenure started in February 2025.
Correct, Mr. Dan.
Whereas the State Electoral Commission, conducted an election in February, and they claimed that you are not the winners of that election.
I mean, I'm sure we were both in Osun State, and I can put it to you that, did you notice anywhere that there was an election?
See, there were elections. The only thing I noticed was that I did not see the results. And I'm saying this with all sense of responsibility. I've said it on the platform. I've asked the Commissioner for Information. I've asked the OCEC chairman himself over and over again. They kept deflecting. I did not see the result. They did not release the results for everyone to see. They said the results already. But that being said, you are now claiming, no, what you're saying now is that mandate for the February 2025 elections belong to you. I was actually referring initially to the mandate that brought you into office, which has been contested, over and over again. But now you are even saying that you are standing on this new mandate of the February 2025 election. How does that work?
So I'm not standing on the mandate of the February 2025 election.
But that's what you said. You said your tenure starts.
Yes. My tenure starts in February.
That's the mandate. That's the mandate.
That's my mandate.
It's the same thing.
That was given to me by the Court of Appeal.
How? How so?
Because the election of February 25 is a sham that should never have happened. As a matter of fact, it's because we have a leadership that is very conciliatory at the national level. It was having a situation whereby we had to go against the institutions like the way we did was see, when the appeal court gave the judgment in February, as far as I'm concerned, and this is me speaking for me, the period that I've been kicked out of office was from the start of of what is supposed to be my administration in October 2022. Now, if I've not been able to serve ever since that moment till this date, I believe the moment the appeal court gave its judgment and said they were wrong to have done that to us, that's the moment that the mandate starts for me.
That's logic, isn't it? That's not law.
So I'm not a lawyer, so I cannot speak to law.
Yeah, I'm just saying, because in that same appeal that you are linking to,
in terms of logic,
the court didn't pronounce tenure extension.
In terms of logic, I'm sure you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I do. But this is a constitutional matter.
And then
that court really didn't talk about tenure extension.
Yes.
Because we have the right to educate our people rightly.
Absolutely. The court may have not said anything about tenure extension, but there is still more than enough time for any such intervention and any such clarity to be given.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, you talked about the election of February 25 being a sham, Honorable. The one that was conducted this year under the Honorable Ashim Abioye-led OCEC, actually. So if you are saying that is a sham, there are many persons who might want to take you on, Honorable Salami, and say the one that produced you in 2022, what will you call that, actually? Because the one under Ashim Abioye went through 360-day notice and all of those things. But the one under you was conducted with a notice of 60 days, which is strange and an aberration to our laws and constitution, which I'm sure you have sworn to uphold as well. So if February 25, Ashim Abioye-led OCEC, according to you, conducted a sham of an election, the one that produced you, we are talking about legality now. So what will you call that?
So the way you say these things, you sound like a lawyer. I don't know whether.
No, I'm not sounding like a lawyer. No, I'm
because I always make. I'm
only asking you. The notice I produced was only 60 days.
I make sure
to our laws.
You're saying that again. I'm putting it to you. You are sounding like a lawyer.
Okay.
But you
got my question.
You see, but your question sounding that way like a lawyer. You are asserting things that should be left to the court to decide or pronounce.
This is not a court. What I'm saying
is the period of notice that you're talking about. Yes. There are different laws and different requirements for different times.
Tell us.
At that time, we know and we believe that all T's were crossed and all I's were dotted
in 2022.
In 2022. So if we're saying that we want to start to use the laws and the requirements of February 2025 to benchmark what happened in October 2022, and this is why I say I stick to the things that I'm sure of. The aspect of the law is not my fault. So therefore, I would, take my time to say, let the people that knows their onions, let them.
This is why
the state government, this was supposed to be the state government going to the Supreme Court to seek that clarity. It should not be for me and you that we're not lawyers, that we're not legal practitioners, to have such strong views. You said earlier
there are politicians who do what politicians do.
As to the
and I think that's what you are doing.
As to the question,
because this is not law, actually. This is not law. And this is public information.
And it's the reason I am deliberate when I always admit the fact that I'm no lawyer. So,
so you believe the election that produced you was properly done?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You see, if it wasn't, and the PDP has a basis to prove that, they would go to the Supreme Court.
The APM went to court, and it was in that basis
on the same
that
two
election
cases
was nullified.
Again, the Supreme Court would have been in the best position to have clarified all of this to both me and you.
There is a subsisting court order of the APC judgment that was given, isn't it?
There's the second aspect of the question that I wanted to touch on.
Please go.
The aspect of the validity or the legitimacy of this February 25 election. So, as against what happened in October 2022, our party was actually quite brave and ready to say, yes, we will participate. I can tell you, in my local government, in the lead up to that election, my name was just all of a sudden nowhere to be found as a candidate.
The February 25 election?
Yes.
Your party
So that's
Your party released a communique that they were not going to be part of that election.
Eventually, when it became obvious that it was a sham.
And so why are you?
Because we had our case in court.
Yeah.
At the time.
Yeah.
But the way things evolve eventually, you see, anybody that was in Osun that day, February 22, knows that there was no election.
So what happened?
A sham. I give real kudos to your frankness in terms of not having the right information that should have been easily accessible. If I was OCX, well, I couldn't. I'm not OCX chairman, but if anybody is saddled with such responsibility, it should be within your fingertips to just say, this was my result. It's an easy thing.
But the claim, Honorable.
It should be a very easy something.
Hold on, Honorable. This situation is, I can rightly say, it has become a conundrum. I'm viewing all this, okay, I don't have any partisan interest, number one. Number two, I'm not from Osun State, so I'm not taking sides with anyone. I stand for truth. I stand for integrity. That's why when we interviewed the Honorable Commissioner of Osun State, the Honorable Conductor Alimi, I asked him that question over and over again. Something as simple as I said, for the sake of fairness, transparency, integrity, why don't we have the results of the local government elections? I asked that question. I asked OCX chairman, he was sitting right there. I asked him over and over again as well. He said he was going to post the election results on the website. I asked the commissioner again, he said we instruct the OCX chairman to do that. So why has it become so difficult for them to do that? And again, that's not taking sides with you, like I said, because now... I
mean, you have had your go at me on this seat today. but this is the beauty of it, and this is my own respect for journalism. When you enter me, or when you give me my jab, I would accept it, and I will, whatever I can do with, I would manage it. But if you're balanced in this whole thing, it's obvious. And when you are not balanced,
that's what I'm trying to. That's what I'm trying to set this tone now to make you understand exactly.
A big punch from there.
I've been pressing everyone on this, and it's for the sake of the people. All I'm concerned about is the people of Osun State. I don't care who holds those offices. It doesn't really matter to me. So you remember I kept asking you, what are your plans? What's your blueprints? What's your roadmap for the people? So it's all about the people.
I understand.
And now you have the funds. Of course, I expect, perhaps the PDP and other parties might go to court to challenge that and all that. That you said we should leave for the lawyers. I'm more concerned about the people. So the question once again is, now it seems that you have been recognized as the legitimate ones for them to have released the funds to you. Now, the other cases are court cases. Going forward, okay, again, what changes should we see? The workers who have not been working before, they might have the rescue. You said, of course, that it's unjust that we should take them on. And we've told you that we will take them on. If we have the National Union of Local Government Employees here, if any of their representatives come here, we will take them on that. Now that you have the funds, what do you expect from them? Should we see a harmonious working relationship between you? Because at the end of the day, it's the people who will suffer for it if you keep having these disputes.
Thank you. So right now, like you said, and frankly, right now, nobody wants to be vindictive about. It's fine. It's frustrating. Let's be fair. It's frustrating that it's happened that way. But from where we are now with the funds being here, we expect staff members to sit up and wake up to what is their duty. Already in my local government, sometimes we have a lot of people that we have to engage in to help with a few things that ideally should sit with the employees. And you almost have the sense that how could a local government be for 8 months without staff members? Already there's a question mark on the, what's the word that I'm looking for? There's a question mark on the efficiency of our system. If I can have in my local government for 8 months, staff members not turning up.
You believe they are practicing?
You see, I don't have any issues with my staff members because I know we speak with them.
Yeah.
We know that they want to work. It's the few apple at the top that is rotten, that is partisan, that is compromised.
So you're talking about the leadership?
Yes. But the fact is that the actions of the leaders have impacted the local governments. And that's why we have to talk about the staff. And sometimes you think, how could the local government be for 8 months? So it brings the question of efficiency.
Mm-hmm. So how do you intend to solve that problem going forward?
Thank you. So you see, I'm sure we have an association, the Algon, and we have our leader, Honorable Abiodun Idowu. You see, from that platform of Algon, it will be a collective way to drive the right of efficiency that we would be working with going forward. And we'll do that in partnership, because we have a version of Association of Local Government Employees now that have been committed to coming to work and working with us all these 8 months anyway. So Norge leadership may have done what they've done. That's the leadership of Norge. But there is an association for local government employees as well, who have been they've taken their job seriously. Let me just put it that way.
But I hope you won't be vindictive on the other ones. That's the point. I hope you won't be vindictive.
You see,
now that you have the funds.
Local government employees are employees. And in my local government, for example, they are still our employees. And like I said, we would look to drive efficiency, because there's a legitimate question of efficiency. If you can leave your desk, Mr. Daniel, if you left this desk for a day, one day, when it's not planned, there'll be a big problem.
All right, Honorable Salami. Please hold that thought. We are due for a break. Honorable KOLA Salami, Chairman of Electoral Local Government.
Television is coming home in your color and culture.
Thank you for staying with us. This morning, we are still looking at Osun State and, of course, the local government's tussle, the issues, the challenges, and of course, now we are talking about the release of funds, which has been confirmed by the Honorable Chairman of Ede South Local Government, Honorable KOLA Salami. Honorable KOLA Salami, thank you once again for joining us this morning. Just before we went on that break, you were about to land on a thought to cut you short. I'd like you to pick it up from there.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Daniel. You see, I put something to you earlier, and what I put to you is that if you're away from this desk, from your desk, for one day, the organization will feel it.
If not planned for.
If not service for an employee, staff has been away. That's a question for efficiency. So that's me personally. And I look forward to having to work together with all stakeholders to ensure that the right systems, structures are put in place to ensure efficiency. That said, you did mention also the issue of vindictiveness.
Yeah, I hope you won't become vindictive at this point, since you have the power. You
see, we are just servants there. The fact that we now have resources to do what we need to do hasn't changed anything. Because we have been here since February when the court told us to come. The only thing is we have the resources to actually make the right impact with our employees. I mean, they are for us, we are for them. And we also recognize the fact that all that has been going on since February does not reflect the views or the wishes or sentiments of all of those employees. We know that. We know that we are where we are because of a few that compromised and became totally political. They did more than card-carrying members of the PDP. You see, with that understanding, no chairman will go to the office and want to be, no. But let us all also know that, yes, now that work has begun with resources, it should be impressed upon every stakeholder, including employees, that now is the time to sit tight because there's work to be done. A chairman's priority first is the people. If the employees, they definitely, they have their own seat at the table. But if a chairman with its responsibility to the people feels that the employees will continue to undermine a chairman's, or in fact, let me just say executives general or a government's ability to deliver good governance, then they must be aware that we are very serious people and we intend to play our own part to support the state government, and more importantly, the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President. If they are aware of that, then they know that the time for playing should be over now. Anybody that is trying to play the game of undermining the system, using a status as being NLC president or whatever, to undermine the system and structures across the local government should know by now that the times where that is going on unabated is gone.
All right. Let me quickly take you, into two things. By the way, just like we always say on this program, and all of our colleagues know, we have a constitutionally backed duty to ask questions, especially if it's in the public interest. In fact, we do whatever we do for the public good. So you are sitting there, and I'm sure many persons are watching us who want to ask these questions and even more about what is happening. So this is not about if somebody is from a state or not from a state, or, this is just what we must do.
Don't worry, you go and study law after.
Hold on.
I will encourage you to just go and study law.
Hold on. Now, the thing is this. You talked about the local government workers that have not been at home. At work. In fact, that was part of the poster we pushed. And one of the reasons on the previous program at the TV end, at the radio, and we spoke on that elaborately on Saturday, because many persons are concerned. How we employees that are at home still being paid for doing nothing, and they have not reported at headquarters. But you remember, in February, when that chaos happened, 6 persons were reported officially died, including one of your colleagues, Honorable Remi Abbas, God rest his soul. I think in Ikire.
Yes.
Am I correct? Yeah. And that is one that feared many people. And the local government workers will say they fear for their life, because the last time they were there and there was a takeover by your men saying your mandate has been returned, people died. So they'd rather not go to work. The PDP produced February 25 chairman and councillors.
You see, you used the word takeover by, you see, this is where, again, I'm a politician.
Yeah.
You've just said takeover, but that's not a fair word to use.
Let me learn. You have the floor, so that I don't cut the line of submission. February 25, produced election. Chairman produced by that election. The governor told them, please stay at home. I don't want problem in my state. Everybody stay away. Now, 6-7 months down the line, they are still at home, and it bothers me. It bothers everybody. It should bother you as well, because there is work to be done. You can't just be at home. Some aspect of the society is being disrupted because of what is happening now. Now, the communique the Norgay leadership released last night said they have vowed not to work with you. But these are your employees. And that was the question I'm sure Daniel asked, how do you intend to make this connection? That even if they are taking a position not to work with you, how will you do that? And number 2 is this. Now that you are saying, everybody come back, let us come and work. The issue of that vindictiveness keeps coming up. I'd like you to just answer the first question. They have vowed not to work with you. So what do? Do you sack them? Do you take new ones, or do you take them to court?
So firstly, I want to make that earlier point.
Yeah.
A competent court, or should I say a court of competent jurisdiction, in February gave its judgment. And we had the security operatives on site to enforce the judgment of the court of law. This was after the state governor had been advised to not have such election since there are officers in council by court. And we decided that our people voted for us. The court has now told us that we should go and continue our job. I, as a person, it was a call to duty that I chose to stand up and go to my office on that day. And unfortunately, in the course of that, we lost, like you said, one of my colleagues. May so rest in peace. You do us a great disservice when you then say we take over the office.
It was violent. Honorable.
The fact that
we are
the PDP,
the truth.
Can I make this point, please?
Please, sir.
When you have people who are trying to just, we are politicians, but beneath being a politician, for a lot of people, I can't say for everybody, but for a lot of people, it's a desire to serve. And in the course of such desire to serve, someone was killed. And because if a pocket of hooligans decided to score points with the lives of people, because the leadership in this state decided that we'll just have an election anyway, what does it take to go to court at that point? Whatever happens, if it happened for 3 months, say for example, we were in office for 3 months, and the Supreme Court later said, okay, they were not right to be there. The law takes its course. But because some hooligans decided to hide behind one finger to perpetrate trouble, to basically torment the public and their leaders, who are the office occupiers in that local government, because of those hooligans, I disagree with your caption of saying we try to take over the local government.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's aside.
Will you be working with those that have said they will not work with you?
Now, you see, like I've mentioned earlier, the no give president or chairman,
Ogungbangbe.
Like I said, it's doing much more than a card-carrying member of the PDP. But his own is not enough for us to say we do not recognize our workforce. The workforce are a workforce, and they have our regards. Because we also know that it is the few, those ones at the top, that are smiling to the bank on the back of all of these things that is happening.
As an allegation.
If they are smiling to the bank, it's my view. I mean, if that's not the case, ever since, you're right, this crisis that was tormented by the hooligans in the PDP, leading to the death of a local government chairman.
How are you sure the hooligans are from the PDP? Sorry to cut you there. How are you sure they are from the PDP for the sake of fairness?
Because the reason I said they are from the PDP is that we have a lot of social media references where they will brandage cutlass and guns. There's one.
Does
video.
that make them PDP members?
So as far as I'm concerned, the basis for contention on that particular occasion is the fact that people who had no right to lay claim to an office are trying to stop the people that the court had allowed to work. So those people who are trying to lay claim to the office are from PDP.
Well, these social media clips you referenced,
so my allegation
is from both ends.
My allegation is rooted in logic. I'm not trying to I don't need to call names. I don't need to be, but it's grounded in logic. But for the NLC, ever since that time, a lot happened in the state. And one of the things that's happened is the fact that we never stopped going to the offices, and we worked every day. As I speak to you, we work every day. INEC, there's this process of registration that is going on right now. The local government secretariats are their offices where people go in there and register peacefully. People go in there and come back. So my point, the point I'm trying to get at is the fact that there is no basis for security excuses in these local governments. But as far as we are concerned, we will work with those local government employees.
Right.
But caveat, like I said earlier, is they must understand that we have a mandate.
And it takes two to tango.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Honorable KOLA Salami, Honorable Chairman of Ede South Local Government Area. Thank you for joining us on the program this morning.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you, Honorable.
Thank you, sir.
Good to see you again.
Same here. Thank you.
And of course, it's a continuous conversation. We will keep talking about this. We'll keep trying to speak truth to power, holding our leaders accountable. That is why we are the fourth estate of the realm as journalists. Thank you once again for joining us today on Morning Spring. Join us again tomorrow for a fresh edition of Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. Daniel Emeka is my name. Do have a fantastic day.
And of course, I am Femi Ojo. It's good that we know that you are there. And of course, we'd like you to tell us in the comment on your YouTube channel the state of your own local government. Now that money has been paid, will you be holding your local government chairman, accountable? We'll make a return tomorrow. You can have a recap on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television NG. God bless Nigeria. God bless Osun State. God bless you.